This is going to be a general message, so please take what resonates and leave what doesn't, because general messages are not a one-size-fits-all. Let's get an essence card to see what this reading could be about. Oh, okay. Quite a few essence cards here. Okay. Missing anything? No, just these two. So Temperance and Eight of Swords. Oh, and the King of Pentacles. Okay. So this reading is going to look at the balance. No, not the balance. But a more patient approach. A more patient approach to securing the security that you don't believe you can achieve. Interesting. Ace of Swords. The Hanged Man reversed. Very, very interesting here that we have the Ace of Swords and the Hanged Man reversed, because the Ace of Swords says, yes, we're developing new ways of thinking. We're developing new mindsets, new belief systems. But the Hanged Man reverse says, no, I don't want to see things from a different point of view. I reject this new way of thinking. I reject it. Which could be the very problem of this trapped feeling. You see with the Eight of Swords here, feeling bound, feeling absolutely helpless, even though you can easily cut these metaphorically cut these metaphorical ties on these, with these metaphorical swords. No thanks. I see that there's new ways of thinking. I see that there's a new perspective to take, but no thank you. Why do we have the Hanged Man reverse? What's been the cause of this? Feels like it's been passed down. Six of Pentacles. I'm taking a bit of leeway here into reading the Six of Pentacles. It feels like it was kind of a handed down mentality. Judgment, Queen of Pentacles, Three of Cups reverse. Maybe not necessarily passed down, but passed along. It could have been passed down, but I feel like passed along, because we have the Three of Cups here. Three of Cups talks about like friendships and whatnot. So you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of that what is that like popular saying? You are an amalgamation of the 5 people that you surround yourself with, or something along those lines, right? It's you are who your friends are. You are who you surround yourself with. It's something along those lines. It feels like there is something that's around that has nurtured this kind of disbelief in your own security, in your own potential for your abundance, in your own abundance, period. And I feel like there's going to be some sort of awakening happening. Your eyes are going to be opened up. Eight of Pentacles. I feel like as you work towards this, because we do have the Ace of Swords here. So I feel like even though you are in this rejection era, even though you're rejecting any sort of like new things, any sort of open-mindedness, any sort of like positive what ifs, like what if it does go right, what if it does work out, what if I am secure, what if I am happy. It feels like because they're still here, that these new ways of thinking, these new ways of spinning things are are starting to kind of creep in. I feel like they may be harder to ignore, and you'll find the desire to be like, all right, like just F it, let's just go all in, or let's start working towards this. And I feel like through these efforts, when you start to work on adopting these new ways of thinking into, like, if you really do adopt these new mindsets or this new perspective, I feel like it's going to be a lot easier for you to recognize the root, the common denominator, the the first perpetuator of these thoughts and of these limiting beliefs. I feel like it'll kind of be like, oh, there it is. Because once you recognize the harmful patterns, ooh, the Eight of Cups reversed. Okay. Once you start recognizing the patterns that this narrative, once you recognize the pattern of this narrative that you've been following, and you're able to like pinpoint, oh, it's coming up because of this, oh, it's coming up because of that, I think you'll be able to see it around in others. And that's when you may be waking up, you may be enlightened to see like, oh, this person, I learned it from them. Now, the Eight of Cups reverse says that when you learn this information, oh my gosh, do we have 3 8s here? We do. 8 of Swords, 8, 8, 8. 8 of Swords, 8 of Pentacles, 8 of Cups. And 8 is the number of abundance. It's an infinity sign, right? If you turn it sideways. Just like if you look at the Magician and the Strength card, they have a little infinity symbol over their heads. But anyway, so with the Eight of Cups in reverse, it feels like when you learn this information, or when you identify like who has been the one like planting these seeds, like once you recognize like whose narrative you've adopted as your own, it may feel like you don't want to leave, or you're going to feel conflicted about leaving. Because it feels, oh my goodness, when did the Six of Wands pop up? Okay, well, the Six of Wands is here. Anyway, there might be feeling of confliction because this person may mean a great deal to you emotionally, and for you to detach from that, it may feel hard, it may feel a bit impossible, but I think the point is to not necessarily, if it is somebody that you really genuinely cannot see yourself without, this is where it's tricky, because I'm going to, obviously, like, this is all up to you. Whatever you take from this, that is your that's your interpretation. So I'm going to say like 2 things about this Eight of Cups. Usually, at least from what I have seen over these years, a really common way of perceiving people who are negative, it is common for people to say, pluck those people out of your life. Pluck them out of your life. Pluck the da-da-da-da-da. And sometimes that is the best way to go about things. Sometimes that is the best way to do it. But other times there are situations where it's not that simple. It's not that easy, and it's not that doable. So I think at the very, very least, if you're in a situation where you cannot fully detach yourself from whoever this is, I feel like at the very least, you should focus on observing rather than absorbing. Okay, I feel like the Six of Wands here is saying that this is possible to do. It is possible to detach. It's possible to detach from absorbing their their mindset, their beliefs, their feelings, right? It is possible to detach. And if this is somebody that you really don't want to let go, that was another thing that I was going to say too, is that if this is somebody that you don't want to just like write off and be like, you're too negative for me, you could very well be in a situation where you would want to help this person. You know, when you identify who it is, you know, you may find a great desire to help, you know, with this, especially with this Six of Pentacles energy here. You know, it feels very reciprocal, right? When you are given, when you are in need, you are given, and when you can give, you help those in need. It feels like there is this there may be this possibility that you recognize just how stunting this mindset is, this internal monologue is, and you care so deeply for this person that you want to help them remove themselves from it. Because you see like, oh, well, they don't, nobody deserves this. Nobody deserves to think, you know, this way about themselves, about their life, about, you know, what they can and can't do. So if you do feel called to do that as well, by all means, do what feels right to you. Okay. Let's see. Any other things wanting to come through? It is possible to detach. Oh my goodness. Page of Pentacles and the Star. Oh yes. Yeah, there once you get a hold of what once you get a hold of what you believe, what you feel, you're going to feel so much more grounded and so much more inspired. It's almost going to be like this sort of like, I don't want to say surge, but it will feel very refreshing, and it'll feel like you have something so precious. You know, when you realize that the way you've been speaking to yourself, the way you've been speaking about yourself, the way that you've been speaking about life, about your situation, about whatever, when you realize that it's not actually you thinking this, believing this, feeling this, and it's rather something that was learned rather than naturally developed, I feel like it'll be so freeing, and you will feel so inspired to explore and to really dive into what it is that you actually feel, what actually grounds you. Oh my goodness, 10 of Cups at the bottom of the deck. There's going to be so much emotional fulfillment. It's going to be so just like, yes, look, it's going to feel like both arms are out, and it's like, oh, it's kind of like the Fool card almost. Page of Wands too. Yeah, you're going, you know what, maybe it is going to feel like a surge of energy. Maybe you're going to feel like, all right, let's get into this, let's do it. You know, it's going to feel refreshing. It's going to feel so refreshing. So, what can we start to do? All right, we've seen all this, we've heard all of this. What can we start to do in order to make our way towards this fresher mindset? You know, we've heard about what we can do when we learn. We've seen who this could potentially, you know, be the source, but it's just how do we go about actually starting to work on identifying this? Is it just this one card that came out, or is that two cards? That's one card. The Five of Cups. Okay, a great starting point. So there's a book that I have on tarot. I got it at Barnes & Noble years and years and years ago. It was like $7 or $8. It's in their like bargain section. I don't know if it still is, but it was in like their bargain section then. And it's quite literally called How to Read Tarot. It has like a maroon cover with like gold symbols all around it, and I believe it's by like Fall River Press or something along those lines. And there's a line. I don't know it verbatim, but there's a line in the section that speaks on the Five of Cups, and it says that you don't have to be miserable if you don't enjoy misery. It's something along those lines. I was paraphrasing. But a really great step to start taking is whenever you start to get into that headspace, when you start to really feel like, oh, well, everything's going wrong. Oh, well, there's this and that and the other thing. When you start listing off what is going wrong, what is bad, when you start like kind of spiraling in this sense, the best way to start rewiring and untangling this mindset is to start focusing on what is still going right. What cups are still standing? Yes, there are cups that have fallen over, but let's start turning yourself around and looking at what cups are standing upright still. What is still going right? And it can be little things. It doesn't have to be major things, right? Oh, well, I'm not where I want to be in my career. I don't have, this type of partner. I don't have this kind of body. I don't have this money. What's going right? What is going right? Are you able, is your nose not congested? That universal thing that I see, like there's this post like every single like flu and cold season coming around that's like, oh, I always take for granted the times where I have a clear nose. It's something along those lines. Like that's something good, right? If you're not congested right now, how wonderful is that? Let's see, what else? Are you able to eat vegetables right now? Are you, what else is going right? Are you able to walk outside? Are you able to see sunlight? Are you able to see, any sort of like loved ones on a regular basis? Are you able to call your best friend? It's really, it's the little things. It's starting to take gratitude for the little things, because that's what makes up life. It's little things. It's the mundane things. It is the things that go unnoticed, that don't get thanked for, like that don't get thanked enough. It really is like those little things. Oh my goodness, and look at the strength coming up here. And see, that's what I was talking about, the little, see how it looks like a number 8 and then, infinity sign. I love that strength popped out. It said, hey, have more compassion. Have more compassion for yourself. That's another thing too. Instead of just only combating, what's going wrong with what's going right, start being a bit compassionate. If you start feeling like, oh, well, I should be here right now, I should be doing that, I should be this kind of person, have a little bit of grace for yourself. Say, well, you know what, that is something to work forward to, and I can start today. I can start right now. I can start being a little bit kinder to myself by being kind to myself in this moment. And at first, right, with the Hanged Man in reverse, you might be like, yeah, okay, that's nice, buddy, like whatever. But if you start speaking kindly to yourself enough times, it's eventually going to become a habit. Any repeated action eventually becomes a habit. I don't know the science on how many days it takes, but I know at the very least, repetition creates habits. Repetition creates reality. Honestly, that might have been a message for me too, because I have my own things. I have my own things, right? Everybody has their own things. All right, we have Death, the Tower, the Moon, and Knight of Pentacles. Oh, this is a lot of diving. It's a lot of diving deep. Change is going to feel disruptive because it is change. It's starting to do new things. It's starting to go in unexplored territories. It's starting to dig up the subconscious, and it's going to feel destructive. But you know what? The things that aren't here to be for you, the things that aren't here to serve you, to help you progress to your highest good, to your highest self, it's going to crumble. It's going to fall away. If it's not here to really be yours, to really be beneficial to you, and to really keep you, your happiness and your peace in mind and cared for, it's not going to last. It's not stable. It's not stable. The tower crumbles so that a new foundation can be built, so that a stronger, better, I guess another tower, who knows, can be built. It's just the weak crumbles so that so that a stronger foundation can be laid and be built upon. And this is going to be a pretty slow process, right? Knight of Pentacles talks about slow and steady, very methodical, very one step at a time. There is no rush. And there is no rush. And that could be another thing too. You could be feeling like, oh, well, it should have already been done by now. I should be doing this right now. This should have... Stop. Stop. This is going to be a slow process, and it's going to be worth it in the end, because there is a lot to learn and unlearn. You know, it's not just overnight. It's a lot of subconscious things, right? With the moon card here, we have a lot of things going, dive into the subconscious. Okay. So please, please, please do not preemptively disappoint yourself by thinking that there is a deadline to meet for this. Okay, because there isn't. It is something that just progresses over time. It takes time. It takes special care. It takes special care for the sake of your betterment, for the sake of your wellness, and not for the sake of being able to say, well, I'm this kind of person with these accomplishments, with this money, with this body, with da. No, the sake is for yourself and your own well-being. It's not for the sake of being able to parade yourself around as some flashy hotshot. Any last minute messages that want to come forward? We're already at 22 minutes. 22. No last minute messages. Oh, here we go. 3 of Wands, yeah. This is a new path. Looking out at the horizon, this is your new path. It's yours to explore. It's yours to act on. And I feel like it's worthy of that exploration. You know, it may seem daunting. You can see the horizon. You can see all that's ahead of you. But the journey is presenting itself to you, and I think it's worth walking on. I think the path is worth walking on. Page of Swords, Queen of Cups. You may have this hasty nature, but you also have quite the intuition, I feel. Especially with the moon out here. I think you do know what you are guided towards exploring. I think you know exactly what it is that you want to dive into and look into. Just resist the urge to try to get it done as fast as possible. Okay, in a perfect world, everybody would be completely healed and be completely who they are with exactly what they want in the next 5 minutes. But it doesn't work like that. It takes a while for the material world to respond to the energetics, or the energy, right? So watch the hastiness. Show yourself a little extra love, even if it feels unfamiliar. Okay? Good luck. Thanks for listening.